What this video offers is a selection of civs and leaders that might best suit the new civs and leader from the Tides of Power collection, at least so far. And a few suggestions here are going to be offbeat. So I'm going to look at Blackbeard, Edward Teach, Tonga, and the Republic of Pirates and see who might be the best matchups for each of these guys. And I'll finish up with a demo of how one of those matchups actually worked out. First, we've got Blackbeard. Now, I want to say up front that he is going to limit you in terms of civs to play with. The reason is that his special abilities are totally related to ships and piracy. Now, anyone can build a naval unit, but civs with special naval units already are going to get more use out of him. So he might not be an S-tier leader in everybody's minds because of that limitation, but he's still an S-tier leader in my heart, if that means anything. In antiquity, the civ I played him with already is Tonga, and that's a very good match, as long as you try not to destroy too many independent powers, because that makes Tonga sad. Meanwhile, his militaristic abilities suit their expansionist tendencies, and with their scout units, he will never be blindsided by a ship coming out of nowhere. With Aksum, their special naval trade unit allows you to combine business with the pleasure of sinking ships. Their trade routes will be more secure, and Blackbeard will have more gold to work with to build his fleet. With Carthage, you don't get a special naval unit, but you do get extended movement for naval units, as well as a discount on buying them. And Carthage gets a more extensive trade empire with a hankering for conquering. When we look at the exploration age, we have a wealth of civs to qualify as good matches. There are just too many. Obviously, there's the Republic of Pirates. And there are plenty of videos, including one of mine, I'll leave a link for that in the description below, to show you how smoothly that goes. Another civ whose jib I like the cut of is the Chola. Their unit, the Kalam, can fire twice if it is not moved in that turn. It took me forever to realize this. I can't believe that. I can't think of a vehicle more sporty and aggressive than this for a pirate. They can make cheaper naval units and have a strong interest in and talent for gold. Of course, Spain would make an historically ironic but otherwise appropriate choice. They're rolling in gold and do not currently have a special naval unit. So he would strengthen them where they are weaker, and he could help with their distant lands expansion to bring in even more gold. Naval units are cheaper for Spain, and they move further. And the Conquistador unit, Magellan, gives fleet commanders extra movement in sight. A subtle difference, but I kind of like it. It gives Spain that little something extra, like a cup holder, in your new car. The Majapahit have the Setbang unit, which is good against other ships and can pillage at range. I think I just heard Blackbeard giggle uncontrollably. And they have a settlement limit increase. Hawaii gets really good marine yields, which can go with anybody's battle plans. The Songhai are decent in terms of resource slots and gold, and strong on navigable rivers where Blackbeard could be a presence. I think overall Chola, Spain, and the Majapahit are the best choices here, but I'll hit you with an even more offbeat option. Bulgaria. Blackbeard could clear the seas, and the Bulgarians could scour the coastal cities on an archipelago map. That would make for some productive teamwork. I see lots of smoke and flames, don't you? On water and land. Now, with the modern era, I think an obvious choice would be somebody like Great Britain, with their Revenge cruiser. I think that's an obvious choice, even if they aren't always super powered in behind that. The ship itself might make it worth Blackbeard's while. Then you have America with all that gold and production working in behind him. I think he could make good use of that. Buganda brings us back to the whole pillaging idea that I brought up with Bulgaria, and they seem to like a strong lake presence. So you never know. Maybe we make him the king of the lakes, and he can wander around pillaging and making himself a nuisance in that way. Then we have Meiji Japan with a strong navy. Again, I'm focusing on civs that have strong naval presences. And Meiji Japan is kind of promising in that regard. The Mughal Empire is strong just because of the gold backing. And I think that's something that, the whole pirate enterprise is built on. So why not? Why not make Blackbeard, Edward Teach, the king of the Mughals? I see that as promising. With Prussia, you have more of a complementary kind of relationship with the Prussians controlling the air and Teach controlling the seas. Something like that could work in a way that you don't necessarily expect. I don't really see it as my offbeat contribution here, but I think it's useful to think in terms of, well, what did they bring that I can't provide, and vice versa. And I think Prussia would work quite well in that regard. Okay, so let's move on to Tonga. Think of them as having three key realms: exploration/expansionism, diplomacy/influence/trade, and culture. When it comes to exploration, their scout, the Tahina, can help anyone explore the whole map quickly. So they could kind of work with anybody. But it does make for two particularly good pairings. The first one, and a nod here to Ursa Ryan, I've linked to his video for this below, is Ibn Battuta. I won't say why, so you'll just have to go to the video and see for yourself. As for my other pick on the exploration front, I like Isabella. And the reasons for this will be more apparent by the end of the video, because she and Tonga are my demo pairing. So I'll get to them in a little bit. As I've mentioned, Blackbeard is a pretty good choice for these guys, as long as he plays nice with the independents. Friedrich Baroque does not suck as a choice for them. They both like culture, and he gets an infantry unit when he constructs a culture building or completes a civic mastery. So a little bit of military might along with the culture, maybe that's just what they need. And he gets a great work when capturing a settlement for the first time. The Tonga have some strong culture elements, including their wonder, so there is synergy. Meanwhile, there are several cultural leaders that could work with Tonga to a lesser extent. Ada Lovelace, Augustus, yes, I'm going alphabetically, Catherine, Hatshepsut, Himiko Haishaman, Jose Rizal. Any of them could really crank out the culture with Tonga if you wanted to go all in on one thing. One I like because of the dual contribution they bring is Lafayette, with his culture and diplomacy emphases. This dovetails nicely with two of Tonga's main interests and would be worth a try. Tecumseh, of course, shares Tonga's independent power agenda, and they could use his combat power. In fact, this might be one of their best matchups for that mutual interest. As far as trade goes, you can't go wrong with Xerxes the Achaemenid and, to a lesser extent, Amina. Both of these leaders would have a strong common interest in increasing trade and extending its reach. If I had to pick, I would go with Blackbeard, Friedrich Baroque, Tecumseh, and Xerxes Achaemenid. And I'll throw in an offbeat choice, Machiavelli. You can keep making the trade links with the independent powers, and he can keep antagonizing the major leaders for more gold. The two goals work together without interfering with each other. Now, the Republic of Pirates might be the most limiting of the three entries we're looking at here, or not. Their focus is on gold. They don't bring in much else. At the same time, any leader can work with gold, so you could argue that they go with anyone at all. I'll still try and suggest specific leaders that might fit them best. Isabella is a decent match here. She makes naval units cheaper to buy and maintain. And she is all about the gold in discovering natural wonders. Then she brings in extra production for each natural wonder she absorbs, helping round out a fairly one-sided Civ. Still love you, pirate brethren, don't get me wrong. Of course, Blackbeard fits them like a peg leg. Their naval goals are aligned perfectly. I also like Ibn Battuta here. He's neatly adaptable to many situations, and his exploration abilities would be very valuable to this roving republic. Xerxes, King of Kings, definitely shares their two interests in gold and conquering. So let's not keep these two lovebirds apart, right? Napoleon, Emperor, would be a somewhat offbeat choice, but if you want to play your republic as aggressively as possible and keep leaders unfriendly, Napoleon can just rake in the gold that results from this because unfriendly is how he likes them best. In the same vein, again, Machiavelli is an even less offbeat choice given his talent for pulling in diplomatic gold and levying troops from independence. Probably the option I want to try most is the offbeatest one of all, Harriet Tubman. Go ahead, be an aggressive little pirate republic, and when the big boys get mad enough to come after you, just let Ms. Tubman stand in their way with her +5 war support. Sure, she can work with any Civ, I get that, but I think her presence would help encourage a more aggressive approach for the pirates in particular. Those are my recommendations, but how will they do in the field? I thought I would take one of them out and try it for you so you can judge for yourself. Like I said, I'm going to put Tonga and Isabella together. But why, you ask? Simple, I say. Isabella's magnetic attraction to natural wonders brings in a variety of resources over time. And Tonga's ability to explore the entire map, or at least the outlines of distant lands, in antiquity, means that Isabella will discover more natural wonders sooner. And more natural wonders means more gold for her and for Tonga. She can get a slightly quicker boost than she normally gets in antiquity, and then hopefully use that momentum into exploration and modern. That's it. Nothing complicated or fancy. Just some gentle synergy and the soothing waves while the Tahina reveal the world. I added 2 mementos, Ballistia, +1 sight for naval units, and Hermione Model, +1 movement to all naval units. How well did this strategy work? Well, you tell me. A lot of it hinged on which wonder I got first. Binakunka, 2 production, 2 science, and 2 happiness, is not the worst place to start. But the next wonder I encounter is Horkwago, which is firmly in the custody of Men Nefer. Do I try to go over there and in force and wipe them out to take the one? I get tired just thinking about it. There have to be more natural wonders out there, a little easier to pick up, right? And really, if there's another independent power there next stage, I can finally absorb it. One of the downsides of the Tonga is their version of the Prime Directive. No absorbing independence. The Great Barrier Reef was right on top of another independent power. Still, I kept on taking in the gold for each discovery, and I pumped that into new buildings. And there's always the exploration age. Mount Fuji, though, was unoccupied, but in the distant lands, where not even the Tahina can set foot. I will literally put a pin in that, and boom, Mount Kilimanjaro was also apparently open for business. Finally, somewhere to set up camp. When I get somewhere over there, that'll give me 2 production and 4 happiness. For Isabella, 4 production and 8 happiness in each of 3 tiles. Thank you very much. I can already feel the 8 happiness. With 2 wonders to help fuel my growth, I gradually established 10 settlements, trying to keep out of the way of the major powers and suzeraning any independent power before I needed to settle near them. The biggest challenge I faced was in the closing crisis when I had 4 settlements that became discontented. But I bought altars and villas, added hexes with as many happiness sources as I could find, and somehow kept everything together. I think that's the most cities I've settled in antiquity, without, suzerains, conquests, just settling. Mind you, that meant I didn't have enough points to get the military legacy victory. But I was going to be okay with that, with whatever I did get. Still, I can't believe I didn't realize Friedrich was neck and neck with me. I thought I was so clever. Now some take-home points. The mementos were fairly redundant. I had hoped the naval bonuses would affect my scouts when they were boating, but that wasn't the case. And I only had 1 other naval unit all game. The search for wonders did work out, but there was a lot of luck involved too. The wonder I started with was one of my favorites, so that was good. And I managed to settle a second one without bows drawn. The scouting for wonders paid off big time, both for antiquity and for exploration. The thing about the Tonga is that they really pay it forward. A leader, especially Isabella, can be nicely set up for the next age, knowing where some of the natural wonders are, and even just knowing where all the land is. So I won't be able to tell for sure how good this pairing was until I go through exploration. My overall assessment is this was fun. Isabella is already a fun leader because of the surprises that come with wonder hunting. But to combine her with the ease of exploration of the Tahina is very cool. Anyway, let me know if you try out any of these combos or any other combo that you come up with. I'm curious about the things we'll learn over the next little bit while people explore with the new leader and civs. And if you liked what you've seen or heard here now, drop a like or a subscribe down below. I'm Civilized Raccoon, and I'll see you next time.